Morning, Director. First of all, I'd like to say that I disagree with the Wall Street Journal's article. I'd like you to tell us what operators told you that those deep-water rigs are coming back, because I wish they'd tell their employees that. Yesterday, I was on the telephone, on radio, taking questions in Lafayette, Louisiana, and not operators but contractors consistently told me that they're still laying off people. Their businesses are still suffering. So, you know, I intend to look into that article. Now, let me just also say this. You know, I believe in trying to fulfill the president and our promises to help promote job growth and economic activity. Wouldn't you want to do that as well?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, I know you think I'm going to ask you for some more permits, but that's a given. I'd like you to consider...
We'll stipulate to that, Congressman Landry.
I'd like you to consider what I've come to believe as the next greatest impact to our smallest operators in the Gulf of Mexico, operators who are developing America's energy on the shelf, in a place that we all have agreed has a proven safety record and does not present the opportunity to repeat the same type of accident that we had. And this issue is in the implementation of SEMS, the Safety Environmental Management Systems. It currently has the greatest impact of derailing business activity, setting back contractors, and hurting job growth. Now, what I want to ask you to consider is I'm not going to ask you not to implement it, only in phasing it in what I see as a government industry-friendly manner, and I would like the other side of the aisle to pay close attention. What I have a draft letter that I will submit to you. We're going to try to get some additional signatures on that. What I'd like you to consider doing is continuing the implementation, continuing the audit, and focus on manned platforms rather than non-manned platforms, and also consider basically placing a suspension of civil penalties for a period of 12 months. Because our small operators are spending millions of dollars, contractors are extremely confused in the implementation of this, and what I'm afraid to do at a time when the permitting process is costing them money, we're going to dispute the level of permitting activity. I have operators who have not drilled. These are small operators. I want you to understand, this is not Shell, Exxon, Chevron. These are our small independent producers. Some of them have decided never to go back to the shelf again. And I would not like to see that. I'd like them to get back on the shelf. I believe that they probably create a tremendous amount of jobs here at home. And so the thought would be to have this an enforcement mechanism where we would have a time period where both industry and BOEMRE could work through this large bureaucratic mess, because as I will note in the letter, BP had a SEMS program in place prior to Macondo. The industry has embraced it, and so I just want to make sure we're not fining these guys for paper trail infractions. What would be your opinion of that?
Congressman, as you probably know, we actually issued the original SEMS rule a year ago, and precisely because we were concerned about the kinds of issues you've just raised, we deferred enforcement for a year. So we have not begun the actual process of doing inspections or reviews, and we're not doing that until November of 2011. So there's already been a deferral because I think we were realistic in recognizing that particularly small and mid-sized operators might have to do some significant work. Now, what would be helpful, Congressman, we have held workshops on SEMS. I know industry has held workshops on SEMS. The Center for Offshore Safety, which is run by API, has held workshops on SEMS and is doing work on that. I have not heard from contractors or anyone else about specific problems they are having. I would urge you to urge them.
I'm going to
come see us.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to get them focused on that. I think the problem is, and I'd like you to consider in my 10 seconds, is that on top of all of the additional hoops and bureaucratic hurdles that are being placed in front of them from the permitting process, that they're trying to look at their revenue source as they implement all of these. And so I do appreciate the 12-month period that you've given them. What I'm telling you is that I think they need an additional 12 months, not in the implementation or the enforcement, but that the enforcement take place in such a manner that it doesn't penalize the industry immediately. You can conduct the audits, you could issue a notice of violation, but you could withhold implementing civil penalties for that time period so as to give the industry and y'all the opportunity to work through it.
Congressman, I'd be very interested in hearing about the scope and the magnitude of the problems, and we'll try to be fair and appropriate in our response.
Okay, I have to keep things moving along.